Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Mark Smith. I'm the chairperson of the Mayor's Commission for Citizens with Disabilities. This is our monthly meeting. I want to welcome our television audience, or if you're looking at this watching this on YouTube, our guests, members. Unfortunately, I have to report that our interpreter is stuck in and unavailable to attend, which is will hopefully is just a glitch. Um, but we will not have our ASL translator for this meeting. Um, I do want to remind members in the audience of our mission, purpose, and format. The Commission works to promote the quality of life, accessibility, and equity in all aspects related to the City of Omaha on behalf of and in cooperation with the citizens of our city who experience disabilities. To this end, we advise the mayor, city council, city departments, other City of Omaha personnel on issues, representation, on the issues of access, representation, employment, housing, and quality of life as it affects our citizens with disabilities and their families. We work to serve as a resource for Omaha citizens with disabilities and their families to express concerns and resolutions, which we just did in our pre-meeting. I'm happy to report. We work to publicize to the Omaha community the role of our commission and the resources available to assist individuals with disabilities around employment, housing, business owners, engineer, architects, others who have a role in bettering the lives of our citizens with disabilities. We work to promote awareness to the general public on the capabilities, needs, and desires of people with disabilities. We publicly recognize the effort of employers, businesses, schools, organizations, and others who have demonstrated outstanding support of programs and services, which we haven't done for a while, so it might be something that we take a look at. Serve as an advocate for accessibility and issues and implement plans, which we've been working on of late with MECA, and review and implement plans and projects for advocating for services with people with disabilities. Um, that's a little bit about what we do. We will have some announcement at the end, so have a paper handy to take some notes, if you would. But in the interim, and I do want to remind our audience too that we're still partially virtual. So we have some of our members here, and then we have some of our members online. Um, very quickly, a quick go around for introductions. My name is Mark Smith. I'm on the faculty of the University of Nebraska Medical Center at the Monroe Meyer Institute, which is the University Center for Excellence in Disabilities for the state of Nebraska. I'm also a parent of a young man with intellectual and developmental disabilities, as well as the sibling of an individual with disabilities. So it's certainly part of my work and my life. Why don't we have our folks that are here present introduce themselves, and then we'll go through the folks that are online.
I'm Megan Walsh, and my company, Assistology, provides services to individuals across the lifespan and across disability groups. So I'm here as a voice for the broader disability community.
Thanks, Meg.
And I'm Nancy Floral, and I'm with the Nebraska Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired. We're the vocational rehabilitation agency that serves individuals that are visually impaired, blind, and deafblind.
Thank you, Nancy. I'll call folks on the screen because you're kind of like Hollywood squares there, and that way you don't have to like decide, is it my turn? Start with Stephanie.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Scabdall. I work with Outlook Nebraska. We're an organization that provides employment opportunities and enrichment opportunities for those that are blind and visually impaired. And I am here representing the blind and visually impaired community.
Thanks, Steph. And Laura?
Laura Young with the League of Human Dignity. We have our Center for Independent Living where we help people advocate for themselves and being able to remain independent in their homes. We also do the Medicaid waiver service coordination.
Thanks, Laura. And Jennifer?
Hi, I'm Jen Pollock, and I work for Millard Public Schools. I'm a special education program facilitator, so I'm here representing students with disabilities.
Thanks, Jen. And Eric?
I'm Eric Olson. I'm a C6 spinal cord injury, and I'm here representing many with disabilities.
Thank you, Eric. We do have some visitors, and we have a presenter. But first, I do want to mention that because we're in this quasi-virtual format, we did not have a quorum, so our minutes are awaiting that time when we can all get everybody under the same roof and we can approve them. And the same would be true for our agenda, but we will pursue our meeting irrespective. Let's see. Okay, next, I want to introduce Vicki DiGregorio, who is the one-stop manager for Heartland Workforce Solutions. We have kind of featured disability employment in our last couple of meetings. We had Ian Fremming last month from the Madonna program, who they're ramping up their work with transitioning students and young adults in terms of acquiring employment. So I will turn it over to Vicki. And as soon as Kat gets her slides up. I do want to give a shout out to Kat. Without Kat, we would be lost lambs in the wilderness, but she takes good care of us. But don't let me distract you, Kat. Just keep going.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for giving me an opportunity to share with you today. I am with Heartland Workforce Solutions. This is a lot more difficult with a mask on. We are part of the American Job Center Network, and I'm the one-stop operator. So unless you're in that world, you don't necessarily know what that means. So I'm going to try to explain that piece a little bit. So basically, the one-stop connection it's a connection between community partners and employers and job seekers. So my job as the one-stop operator is to work to keep these three entities moving together to try to connect employers and job seekers and the services that job seekers might need. Oh, okay. So today I'm going to walk through each of these pieces, the community partners, the employers, and the job seekers. And I'm going to talk through the services that we provide for each of those, but then also the ways that we're able to accommodate people with disabilities as we provide those services. So in March, we did have a review of our building with the ADA. And of course, there's ways that we want to improve, ways that we can provide better service. There are some structural changes that we're going to be making just to make sure that we're providing the best possible service. But overall, there are some great pieces that we have happening there. So for those of you who haven't been there, when you get to the building, there is ample parking. We do have automatic doors to get you into the building. And then once inside, all of the services are on one floor. There's lots of space, so there's ample space for wheelchair or other mobility needs. The floors are stable and firm and slip resistant. And then really the biggest piece for me is that we have one-on-one orientation to the center, and this is for everybody. So when somebody first comes in, we're going to be meeting with them one-on-one, and I'll get to this a little bit more in a minute, but we're meeting with them one-on-one to really assess what their needs are and try to overcome any potential barriers at that first step in the door. So we have a wide range of customers that come to use of career seekers that come to access our one-stop workforce system. Some come in, they already have a job, they're already doing something, but they want something more. And then others come in and they have no job, and they don't even know where to start, how to start that process. And of course, right now, that's a bigger problem than ever. We have people coming in now that have been in jobs for 15, 20 years, and now all of a sudden they're finding themselves unemployed for the first time. So, and then along with that, of course, we have people that come in with a full range of abilities. We have people that come in that are completely proficient on computers and have no physical limitations whatsoever, and then, of course, just the whole range of people. So, so this slide shows just some of the basic resources that we have available for anybody that comes in the door, with, again, just that reiterance that it is an individualized service for everybody. But these are some kind of basic things. So there's resume assistance, interview prep, job search assistance. But then there's also, we're connected with programs that can provide funding for training or credentialing if people are trying to get a different job or a better job, or they need some kind of certification for better pay or whatever. We have lots of connections with community partners that can help with that. The labor market information is super helpful. Just if you're trying to, especially if you're trying to change careers, it gives you a chance to see what are the sectors, the job industries that have the most, that have some potential growth, that have openings, that are going to have the pay that's going to work for your current needs, and where there's growth there. And then there is also some assessment of some initial skills for literacy, numeracy, and English language proficiency. I'll talk about this more here in a minute, but this is beneficial also because if you your skills are not where you need them to be, we can get you connected with resources that can get your skills up to where you want them to be. So as far as like specific accessibility for job seekers, and I have on here for job seekers, but really this would be available to anybody in the community that came into the center. We do have interpretation services for language, for language, but then also for deaf and hard of hearing. We have the JAWS software that allows a blind or visually impaired person to read what is on the screen. And then Zoom text to enlarge information on the computer, again for the visually impaired, and Dragon Speak, which is a voice-to-text software. And then we also have adjustable workstations. So our standard workstations will fit like a standard size wheelchair, but then we do also have some adjustable workstations that can be raised and lowered to accommodate for other mobility type issues. As far as for business services, this is another key customer group for us. When a business initiates with Heartland Workforce Solutions, they are connected with a business service representative. And these business service representatives come from a variety of organizations. We have them from Lutheran Family Services, NCBBI, DESI. There's several different organizations. I can't think of them all right now, but we have several organizations that are represented in this business service group. So the business service representatives connect with the employers. They're able to provide a business needs assessment to kind of figure out what is it that the business needs, what kind of employees, what kind of training do they need, but then also what kind of employees are they willing to take? Are they willing to work with somebody with disabilities? And if they say yes to that, then what does that really mean? Really kind of teasing out what they're able to work with, what kind of accommodations they're able to make. And then we can take those needs assessments to our twice a month integrated business service team meeting, and we talk through some potential solutions for those businesses. So that could be something as simple as we'll put your flyer out in the center and make it available to people. We have employer spotlights where we'll have an employer come in and they can meet one-on-one with job seekers to learn more about services or job openings. They can apply right there with them. Sometimes they even do interviews right there on site. We also offer, we have a partner meeting once a month, and employers are welcome to come present at that partner meeting so that the other partners in the community are aware of the positions that they have open. And then we can also work with them to identify training. If there's a gap in training in the community, if there's a specific training that an employer needs and there's not enough people that have that training, we can work with the employer to get people trained so that they have a workforce to pick from. The Sense Tours, it's career exploration and networking tours. This is a great opportunity for job seekers to really learn about a particular field. So we just recently had a Sense Tour with construction and trades. And so we had several different organizations, several different companies that were hiring in the construction and trades fields. And the job seekers went through a week-long process of doing some training and some testing, but really learning a lot about what does it mean to be in construction and trades. And then it gave the employers an opportunity to see these people that are interested and hopefully make some connections there. And then we also have the National Career Readiness Certification. This is a test. Test isn't a great word for it, but it's an assessment of some basic skills. So some basic reading and math kind of skills, but they're not like, are you ready to pass an algebra test? It's, are you ready to do the basic math or reading that is needed for a specific job? So these tests are super beneficial for both employees and employers. For the employees, it helps them to see what their skills are and where their gaps might be. So maybe their math skills are not quite where they need to be for a particular job. This test can show them that, and then we can get them connected with partners to bring those skills up. And then for employers, it gives them a snapshot of does this person that has applied for this position have the basic skills that you need before you hire them? Can they do the basic things that you need? We do work with Metropolitan Community College on this. They provide some accommodations for people with disabilities because it is the whole test is on the computer, but they can offer readers and other options so that a job seeker can accurately demonstrate their skills to employers even if they have some disabilities. Okay. We have a very robust group of community partners that we work with, and we're always striving to grow this list and just really grow it, but also kind of tighten it up. So we have a monthly meeting with our partner network so that we can learn from each other. What is it that everybody's doing? What services are people providing? There's also a one-stop email listserv that I'm able to send out to help the community be aware of any upcoming events, job openings, training opportunities, that kind of thing. And then we also have access to lots of like conference rooms, small and large conference rooms. They're at Heartland Workforce Solutions, so that community partners can come in if they want to engage with their customers. There at the center, we have that opportunity for them as well. And we really rely heavily on these partners to make sure that we can meet, there at Heartland, we do have lots of great accessibility features, but we know we can't meet everybody's needs all the time right there at the center. So we really lean on that community partner network to be able to meet all of those needs. And then the other piece of this is that a lot of people come in focused on, coming in to get a job, but we can do a whole lot more than that because of the connections that we make. And I'll talk about that more, a little bit more here next, but there's lots of connections that we can make to community partners that maybe they don't consider part of employment. Like if you're looking for a job, but you don't have any food in your house and you need a food pantry, we can get you connected to somebody that can get you a food pantry. So all kinds of community resources that we make available. So next, I just want to talk about what it looks like when a job seeker walks into the door. Walking into the door of a building that maybe you might perceive as a government building, it's not, but it can be perceived as that. And coming in when it's because you don't have a job or you need a better job can be really scary for anybody. And we really want people to feel safe, and we want them to feel like it's easy to access all of the services. So when people first come in, they will meet with a coordinator. And the coordinator has this referral guide that they walk through with the job seeker to see what are those services that you need. Maybe they just need to get on a computer, and that's all they need, and so we can get them set up with that. But maybe they need a class for computer skills or a class for resume building. But maybe they need a little bit more than that, and so then maybe it's something more like a referral to Nebraska VR or to NCBBI or other places that can give them a higher level of service than what we're able to provide. So we do that, the little referral checklist. Any referrals that need to be made, we can make them right there on the spot. And then we have a large computer lab. Right now we're only able to seat about 12 people at a time because of COVID. But in normal times, we're able to seat 20 people or more in that room. So they have access to the computer and printers. We have a fax machine and copy machine. But the key there is that they have ongoing staff assistance. So, of course, some people will come in and say, oh, no, I'm fine, I know what I'm doing, and they're just going to have a seat at the computer, but then start running into some trouble. So they have lots of staff around. They just raise their hand. Staff can come over and work through it. So maybe, again, it goes back to that. Maybe they just need a little help with a resume, but maybe they need to get connected to a resume class. Maybe they need more than that. So there's just a lot of emphasis on that one-on-one help that we want to be able to provide. Like I said, we do partner with lots of agencies. This list here is the agencies that currently are housed in-house with us at Heartland Workforce Solutions. Not everybody is back on site yet, but they are providing services virtually if they're not on site yet. So I'm just going to run through these real quick just so you have some idea of what they are. The career readiness to eliminate disparities. This is a program that has funding for short-term certification. So again, it's just that if you need a certificate to get to the next level job, they can help with the funding for that. They do provide that National Career Readiness certification. And then they have career placement programs that they do with Metropolitan Community College. And then they can provide interview assistance in Spanish and English. We have DHHS that helps with SNAP and then other economic assistance. The Workforce Innovation Opportunities Act, that's a program that we have both youth and adult represented in the building. And this provides funding, again, for some of those short-term training, but it can also be for other higher level education. But it also provides a career coach. So the person has somebody to work with one-on-one, like a case manager, to work with them as they look for employment. And then Metro, they provide GED services, but then also that National Career Readiness certification. The Resolute Certified Navigator provides information and enrollment for Obamacare. The CSEP program with National ABLE provides a work experience training program for people that are 55 and older. So this is they get placed in a paid volunteer position for a nonprofit agency, and they get some training, some skills training for jobs, but then the ultimate goal is to get them into regular employment. Department of Labor, there's lots of resources with Department of Labor, funding programs for funding for training, and of course right now the big piece is the unemployment. Nebraska Department of Labor is quite busy with the unemployment piece right now. Nebraska Vocational Rehabilitation, that's a great partner to have there in the building. We do a lot of dual enrollments with Voc Rehab for people, so we can get some funding for training, but then also get that extra case management. Operation Hope is a financial management program. They can help people increase their credit score, help people get ready for home ownership, or just get their budget straightened out. So that's a fantastic program. RISE is new to us. They work with people that are coming from incarceration. And then America Works is the Ticket to Work program, so people can explore employment opportunities without risk of losing their Social Security. And then I just realized I don't have on here, we do now, they just moved in a couple weeks ago, Job Corps is there, which again is a employment or a training program for young people. So so those are the basics, but we do have more that we work with outside of the organization. So and then finally, and this again is a huge piece for us, we are and strive to continue to be a mobile workforce system. So our service area is Douglas, Sarpy, and Washington counties. We up until very recently, till last week, we actually provided some services through the Latino Center of the Midlands. We're not going to be providing those anymore. They have grown, and so we're finding a new space. But we do want to continue to provide services in that community, so we're looking for a new space there. Douglas County Corrections, prior to COVID, we had a couple different programs that went into Douglas County Corrections to help people with whatever, to get them signed up for the programs or the testing, whatever it would be, so that as soon as they get out, they're able to work towards getting employment. Now we do have some people coming from Douglas County Corrections that come in once a week, just a couple at a time, that are allowed to apply for jobs. They work one-on-one with our trainer to look for jobs, so that when they are released, they will be able to be released into employment. Washington County, right before COVID, we had really made some great inroads in Washington County. We were going to have a hiring event. We had lots of resources set up there in Washington County, and then COVID kind of canceled all that. But we are working on getting back into Washington County. So, and the bigger thing is we can come to wherever you are, basically. So we're trying to work throughout the city to get connected with programs that are already established. So we would love to get somewhere in West Omaha, again more in South Omaha, just wherever it is that people are that could use the workforce services. So our goal is to get into already established organizations and just have staff there to be able to provide those workforce services in whatever their community is. So, and that is all I have. I just thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share with you guys. Any questions for me? Yes, absolutely. What questions do you have?
Well, let me open it up to the folks online as well as the folks here, and see if you have questions for Vicki on her presentation.
Thank you for providing all of that. I love that I learn something new every time we have someone in here. My kind of biggest, it's kind of a maybe it's a two-part question, but for individuals that come in or employment partners, is there some level of coaching or training you're able to provide in terms of whether it's through the disclosure and accommodation conversation or ongoing support and integration in like the culture of their business as they're wanting to and increasing the percentage of their population that falls within a disability category so that that placement is successful? Does that make sense?
I'm sorry. I don't quite understand what you're asking.
So, does the Workforce Solutions service or the services that you provide, does it include any coaching or training either for the individual or the employer on working through that disability disclosure or accommodation request? And then the second area is kind of in that general disability awareness cultural aspect, so that if you are placing an individual or that individual gets a job, that the employer is just really knows how to best support the ongoing needs, whether it's vision or mobility, or an individual on the autism spectrum that needs some environmental adjustments, that type of thing?
Yeah, well, we don't do any specific training for that, but many of the organizations that we partner with have some kind of on the job training kind of positions. And so a lot, like if that's going to be the best route, then we'll start in that place. And then there is some one-on-one working with the employers to try to meet those needs. As far as for the job seeker end, we would probably lean on the Nebraska Voc Rehab for assistance on those pieces.
Great, thanks.
I was just going to add, I think through the business services at Heartland Workforce Solutions, that whole business services does a lot of outreach for the inclusion and diversity, and really working closely to address any potential questions, doing a lot of sensitivity training, allowing a really safe environment to ask questions that really promote opportunities for people.
Yeah, thank you, Nancy.
One question I had, and I apologize in case you mentioned this and I missed it, but I had a minor distraction that I'll discuss later. How is your program funded?
How is Heartland Workforce Solutions funded?
Yes.
That is a great question. It's a grant that they have. I shouldn't answer that. I don't know for sure. I believe that it's a grant with the city, but I don't want to say for sure. Nancy, is that one you can help me out with?
So there is a grant that comes through the city of Omaha to fund a portion of the services with Heartland Workforce Solutions, but then they also are receiving some federal and state funding. The Department of Labor's there now, and a lot of that is state and federal funding as well. So they're really relying on working as a team with those job seekers that are coming in the door to put together the team that's really going to maximize the success for each individual that comes in the door. Because so many people who come in, they may say, I don't have a disability, I might not have a barrier, and sometimes we're just nervous about discussing those things. But having a one-on-one opportunity to go through a list and say, what about this, what about this, what about child care, what about elder care, let's make sure all these things are in place, that not only are you finding employment, but retaining employment, and not just employment now, but can we get you stabilized, but look at a career pathway to a real livable quality opportunity.
Is there a cost to the individual to get services with in that consumer side?
Nope, there's no cost. There's no cost for the job seeker. There's no cost for the employers. We have like hiring events, and all of that's free for the employers. Our community rooms, if a partner wants to meet with somebody, all of those rooms are free. There's no charge for any of our services.
Okay, and I was curious, about. I know that these aren't normal times, but what's your service load? How many folks are you seeing?
Yeah, right now we're seeing an average of about 145 people a day, and about 80% of that is unemployment at this point, and the other 20% is look at connections with other services or job search, that kind of thing. So yeah, about 145 to 150, kind of varies.
Do you provide virtual opportunities?
Yes, we have for unemployment, they can do it all online. They only have to come to us if they don't have a computer or if they don't have Wi-Fi access. But we have training for interview skills, resume skills. Those are all online. We've got some computer skill classes coming up that are going to be online. And most of the other partners, their services are virtual. So like the workforce investment opportunities, whether it's youth or adult, they provide their services virtually. Job Corps is kind of doing a little bit of both. People can come in or they can do it virtually. What we're working on, this has been maybe the benefit of COVID, is on the Heartland Workforce Solutions website. There's lots of resources on there. But what we're working on is creating a virtual job center there so that all of our services can be also accessed virtually online. So that's coming up within this year is what we're working on for that.
Everybody's had to adjust, it seems.
Yeah. And it's good in those ways. It's good. It's something that's been on the back burner for a long time, and now it's been moved to the front burner. So it will get done.
And I do know that the website is currently, they're looking at redeveloping that.
Yeah, it's under construction
so it's
right
under
now.
Construction.
Yep. Yeah.
I did want to give folks on the phone, do you have any questions for Vicki? Perhaps not.
I guess one last thing, just for the benefit of the audience, is what's the best contact point for an individual to reach out and initiate?
Well, if they coming to the center is great. It's easier to provide that one-on-one service. But on the Heartland Workforce Solutions site, there is a section in there where you can send in a request, whether you're an employer or a job seeker or a community partner. You can send in a question, and that gets routed to the right department. So either the Heartland Workforce Solutions website or just coming on in. Anything else?
Other questions?
No, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Vicki.
All right, thank you.
Very informative.
Thank you, Vicki.
Okay, that was really very informative. Before we get into kind of finishing up our discussion for today, I did get an email, and I think perhaps the rest of you did as well, from one of our members, the Reverend Lisa Sherman, who has COVID. Her husband has COVID, and for those of you who know Lisa, I'm sorry, very well, they have taken in foster kids and adopted children that have pretty significant needs. Lisa's kind of amazing in terms of what she does, but that kind of knocked me back on my pins a little bit, and that's why I had to apologize to Vicki for having to check out for just a minute, because Lisa's a valued member, does just a ton of stuff in the community for people with disabilities, and just saddened to hear. She was in the hospital last week, her husband's in the hospital this week, and some of the kids have it, and these are kids that you would not want them catching COVID-19. So just a little dose of reality in the middle of the discussion, I'm sad to say. With that, I'd like to have us go around one more time, and if folks have, if you want to just reintroduce yourself or have any announcements, I would open it up. And again, why don't we start online this time and see what folks have to say. So, Steph, I'm going to call on you first again.
Again, I'm Stephanie Skapdal. I work with Outlook Nebraska. We provide employment and enrichment opportunities for those that are blind and visually impaired. Right now, we are still running full bore with the toilet paper. And right now, our technology training that we offer is, we're doing some in-house, not very much, given different circumstances. And then most of it is still virtual or over the phone.
Thanks, Steph. Laura?
Laura Young with the League of Human Dignity. Not a lot new here other than if you qualify for our services and you need any kind of PPEs, please give us a call. We'll help you out, including a great sanitizer that we have. So that's about it.
great sanitizers are a good thing.
Yeah, we found a really great product. So,
Glad to hear. Um, uh, Jennifer.
I have a few. We're back in school.
Sure, no problem.
Kids are doing really, really well. It's so nice to be back with our students. That's what we want to be doing. So we're really excited to be back. We have added another champion school, Millard North High School. So now all 3 of our high schools are champion schools with Special Olympics. And really cool, our young adult program has a Special Olympic ambassador. So I believe it's only 12 nationwide that are selected. It's an inclusionary practice. So there's 12 total students, and we have 1. So we're pretty excited about that.
Thanks, Jen. Eric, you're blacked out, so I don't know if you're there, bud. He is there.
Yeah, I'm here. I just blacked out while she was doing her presentation.
Sure.
I don't really have anything to add at this time, but I appreciate you coming in. And yeah, it was very informative. It's something that I would probably look for if I would need it. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thanks, Eric. Folks here?
Yeah, a couple. So there's an ongoing study at UNO through the Department of Gerontology. We're continuing to recruit older adults or caregivers of older adults to take a quick online survey. Usually takes less than 15 minutes. There is some compensation included, and we're trying to explore the impact of assistive and adaptive technologies in the aging process. And then also my company, so Assistology, we house one of the United Cerebral Palsy of Nebraska Tech Tools lending libraries. Those pieces of equipment are still available to borrow from individuals, therapists, educators, families. It's like a lending library of adaptive equipment that works very much like a library. You would contact me to borrow something, and we'd arrange a loan. We've got a whole list of sensory-related objects or items that will be coming in the next couple of months to help manage some of those needs that may be heightened with all of the uncertainty right now. So the inventory and contact is on my website or the United Cerebral Palsy website, but we just want to get that out for people to be able to use at home and in school.
Thanks, Meg. Nance?
And I'm Nancy Floro with the Nebraska Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired, and we're the vocational rehabilitation agency that serves visually impaired, blind, and deaf blind, and I do not have any announcements today, so.
Okay, thanks, Nancy. And then finally, again, I'm Mark Smith. I work at the Monroe Meyer Institute on the campus of the University of Nebraska Medical Center. The announcement I have is, I'll try and keep this fairly short. We're going to be conducting training on leadership and advocacy for individuals with disabilities and family members and interested parties, whoever they might be, coming up in September. This will be all virtual, which will be kind of a new thing for us because it's a training we've done with folks in person all across the state, but we just could not justify bringing people into the same place at the same time. So that will be the afternoon of Friday the 18th, the morning of Saturday the 19th, the afternoon of Friday the 25th, and the morning of Saturday the 26th. And to get more information, pretty soon I don't have it up on our website yet, but information will be available on our website, which is UNMC, University of Nebraska Medical Center, unmc.edu, and then /MMI. And that'll take you to our homepage and more information on that and opportunities to register. It's a free training. There's a stipend for persons with disabilities and family members who need financial support to participate. And we'd love to have you join. We have recruited disability leadership from across the state, the director of the ARC of Nebraska, the director of Disability Rights Nebraska, the director of the Statewide Independent Living Council, and a number of other highly qualified experts in this area. And the goal, again, is to promote positive change within our systems of services and supports for people with disabilities across the state and in Omaha. So I had to throw that in there at the end so I didn't get, this blocked out or something. I want to thank our presenter, Vicki DiGregorio from Heartland Workforce Solutions. I want to thank the commission for their for hanging in there through some difficult times. We will be looking at meeting again on the 28th. We don't have our speaker lined up yet, but we're looking at seeing if we can have a conversation about accessible transportation with Metro Area Transit as a topic that we're interested in after some earlier discussions today. So again, thank you. Please, you can reach out to anybody on the commission through the mayor's website if you have a question, concern, or comment, and we're finished. So thanks very much.
Megan, can I ask a clarifying question really quick for the notes?
Sure.
I was feverishly typing. When you were talking about your adaptive equipment, you mentioned a specific population it was for, I believe.